friends, it's Amanda from Over Yonder Goods. I'm here for another market recap. I had my second market of 2025 yesterday, April 12th. I'm gonna put in some footage that I took at the market, so I hope y'all enjoy that. And then afterwards, we'll come back here and I'll recap everything and I'll tell you everything that sold. So stick around and enjoy the footage.
Yeah, you are right. It's a
I don't know.
I thought you would have sold all the rabbits.
Yeah, I don't know, the chicks
What
in
is this?
the eggs.
Is this a rabbit too?
Yeah, it's meant to be a rabbit.
I thought this guy might have sold.
I know, isn't that cute? I'm glad I didn't make more. But the chickens inside the eggs were very popular. Yeah. It's interactive, you know. Hey, how are you doing? Good.
You didn't bring any chickens out here? The small ones? Oh,
They're right there.
I think this one's funny looking.
Yeah, that one's funny looking.
Somebody thought it was a, they realized bubble tea.
It's a boba tea.
Yeah, they thought it was a milkshake.
Oh, well, if they want it to be a milkshake, it can be a milkshake. Whatever they
I
want.
kind of like this one.
I know,
Nobody has bought ever bingo.
Well, I've had that bingo since like
This
Christmas.
one's from Kimberly.
And finally got some I bought Bluey.
Nobody wants blue.
I got a new pattern for them. I'm gonna try out
Bluey?
Bluey and bingo, yeah. I've got a pattern to make like muffin for like just like that. It has like Bluey, bingo, muffin, and socks. And then I've got that giant. Have you seen like I've got the legs of Bluey in the craft room?
Yeah. You have not finished that one.
No, because it's so many different steps. I'm gonna finish it. Maybe I'll finish it over spring break. Okay, we got 15 minutes left. My pegboard fell with the wind, so I just put the scrunchies in a box. Alright. We got 15 minutes left. And it's been a good day, yeah. Okay, we're back. So, First, let me say that if you like this kind of vlog or video, or you like crochet content and just handmade small business content, I also do sewing stuff, as you might have seen in the footage of my display. So if you like anything like that, please subscribe. And if you enjoy the video or it's useful information for you, give me a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm know that other people might enjoy the video too. So, okay, so when I do these, I like to start with a little bit of background info about the market itself, because I think that's important to get some context, and because every market is so different. So this was my first time vending at this location. It's actually the first time that they've had a market like this at this location. This is called the Blakeney Center. It's in Charlotte. Technically, I think it's a Charlotte address, but it's kind of south of Charlotte. I had never been there before, but when I was researching whether I'd want to do this market, I looked at the shopping center and it seemed like it had a lot of high-end shops. For instance, right across from where we were located was a Lululemon. They had like Jenny's Splendid ice creams. I've seen those in the grocery store, and I listened to her story on how I built this, which is a good podcast, but I didn't even realize they had physical locations outside of like New York City or, you know, large metropolitan areas. So I was like, okay, well, if they've got Lululemon and they've got this Jenny's ice cream and all these other things that I know are, you know, higher cost establishments, then I thought, well, this might be a good place to be. So with this being the first time that they were doing this market at this location, I think there were some issues like when I arrived and even just the week leading up to it. It took until like the night before for us to know our assignment, like our space assignment, and when they tried to stagger arrival times, like 9:15, 9:30, 9:45. It wasn't gonna start until 11. I should say it ran from 11 to 4 officially. And so there were some concerns with like how we were gonna set up. So they had like a greenery area, which is where I was. And then they had a patio area that were close to some restaurants. I think it was Shake Shack and Britt's Pizza, and it was just kind of in line. So I could see that patio area from where I was. So some people were set up down there. Those people had tents. So if you needed a tent, they were set up down there. I usually do use a tent, but I decided that I would rather be in the green area and opt out of using the tent for this event, and I'll tell you why. So the reason why I opted for that is that they had an Easter bunny set up and face painting and what are they called? Balloon animals. Yes, so they had a kid zone is what they called it. And when I tell you there were children everywhere. Which is obviously what I was hoping for since I sell plushies. A lot of my customers are not kids. Like I will say, a lot of adults and teens, young adults buy my plushies. And also with me branching out into the sewing with the little pouches and stuff, kids are not my market for those items. But you know, still, I just thought that would be best. And I think it worked out really well. There were, I think, in total 4 people selling crochet items. I didn't see them all. I think one person had a few but mixed in with other things, and she was kind of behind the bunny. And then there was one lady that was close to me, basically like we were in the same area, that also had crochet, and she had all crochet items, plushies. So, and I don't mind if people are selling crochet like wearables. I feel like that's a completely different category. And I think that what they tried to do was, even though there were a couple people selling crochet, they did try to spread it out more based on location. I don't know that that worked out perfectly because they were scrambling that morning, figuring out where people were gonna go. But in the end, it worked out okay. You know, usually, I think I mentioned this in my last market video, you don't want to have a bunch of people selling the same category because it's going to dilute your sales. But I think it worked out well for me on this day. So arriving to the event, I was thinking, yes, I absolutely was right. This is like a upper scale, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Highfalutin, I don't know, pull out all my southern sayings. But basically, I was in an area that was above my raisin. Let's just say that. So there were so many people just like casually with like Louis Vuitton bags and YSL and you know, that's not something, the environment that I am familiar with or come from. But when you want people to have expendable income to purchase your goods that are, you know, not essential, we're not selling, you know, insulin or EpiPens or food. So obviously everything that I sell is a non-essential good. So being in an area where people have a large amount of expendable income is a plus. It's definitely a plus. And so a lot of people were willing to buy stuff for their kids just, you know, spontaneously. So that is a big check for me. I would absolutely go back to this place, to this event with these people. I know they were kind of scrambling at the end to figure out placement and all that, but it turned out really well for me. They did say that they were going to try to do an event in the fall/winter for Christmas, have the same sort of setup with Santa there. So if they do that, I will absolutely be looking into attending that one. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. Now, I'm sure what you're here for is to see what sold, like what were my best sellers, how much money did I make. So I'm gonna go through and just kind of go through each sale. I think that's the easiest way for me. Okay, I'm gonna be looking at my phone a little bit just to see the different orders. I use Shopify point of sale when I'm at my markets. And the reason I use that is because I do have a website. If you want to check out my website, it's overyondergoods.com. So feel free to go check that out. I have most of my sewing stuff on there, my pouches, scrunchies, key fobs. I'm thinking about adding in crochet stuff, but I'm not sure yet, just because it takes me a lot of effort to keep these crochet in stock just for my handmade market. So I don't know if I added in the crochet stuff online, if I'd be able to keep up, because it's so much more time consuming than the sewing. But you know, we're playing that by ear. So if you see me look at my phone, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at my orders. And the two methods of payment that I took were cash and tap/card. With the Shopify point of sale, I got a free card reader. It just Bluetooths to my phone and it works perfectly. It works great every time. So let me start. So we started the market at 11, but this is a shopping center. I don't think most of the stores were open before then. I don't know, I didn't look into that, but it didn't seem like there were a lot of people walking around before 11, but I did make a sale while I was still setting up, and that was at 10:39 a.m. So I will try to, as I go, if I have a picture of the items or maybe even the pattern, if I don't have a picture of the physical item, I'll put it on the side here so y'all can see. I think that allows for a visual other than just my blathering face. So she got, for $10, she got a chick and egg. I don't know if that makes sense. It's a chick and an egg. It's kind of an interactive pattern and it is on Instagram. I should probably tell you the name of the person who made it, because this was a very good seller for me. This, to put into some context, this market was right before Easter this year. So let's see. Yesterday, it was April 12th, the market, and then Easter is next Sunday. So we're a week away. And so I had the thought to make some Easter/spring things for this market so that people can put them in their Easter baskets. And so that's where that came from. Although I kind of think, and I was asking my husband about this, because they sold so well, do you think that this could be a like all year round sort of thing? And he thinks so, and I think so too. I think it's just really cute and interactive. So this is the Boba the Baby Chick free pattern. It's by Hook Crochet Co. I was gonna price these at $12 because you do have to make, the tiny little baby chick takes no time, but you do have to make both pieces of egg. But I just decided on 10. I don't know. That's what I decided on. I'm gonna start moving forward. I'm gonna start trying to time myself and then charge, you know, a certain amount per hour and try to figure out my sales that way. But that's what I charge for now. And then for 16, oh, she bought another thing that I made that was it's a little duck, and it's wearing a hat with a little flower on it. Let me see if I have that. Yeah, in my save patterns I do. Sweet pea plush. Sweet pea plush is that's a flower hat duckling. So that was the first thing that sold, along with one of the interactive eggs, and the kids love playing with the eggs. So I'm thinking it might even be cute to put other colored birds in the egg. Yeah, definitely a thumbs up for me on that pattern. All right, okay, so the next thing that sold at $11.05 was another chick in an egg. I was like, okay, this is going really well. This is good. So that was the next thing that sold. At $11.09, I sold the bunny peep. I really thought these would go over better. I had 2 of them, but I only ended up selling 1, and then I had some other bunnies that I think didn't sell either. So maybe this is what I'm always worried about, making a lot of seasonal items, because I always worry that they're not gonna do as well as I think. And then I'm gonna be stuck with things that look like a seasonal item out of season. So I did sell 1 bunny peep for $18. This was made in burlap blanket. So it was, no, it wasn't burlap blanket. It was like a limited time yarn that Michael's made. It's the Fluffy Flex. I'll put a picture of the peep, but I don't remember which color sold. But it's got little flecks of color in it, really cute. And at $11.19, I sold a mystery box. Yes. Okay, so this is something that I've started doing this year. So last market and this market, I've started doing mystery boxes, and they are going super well. I think they're super fun. They're all $10, and I have just been doing all free patterns that take me 30 minutes or less. I think I'm gonna do a video specifically about the patterns that I use and my process for those. They're just really fun and people like them. They're a low price item, and so people feel like it's just a fun thing to get, and you don't have to be worried about what you're gonna get because it is a lower price item. So that was a $10 sale. I took 8 mystery boxes with me and I sold 7. So I only came home with 1, which is great. At my first market, I took 6 and I sold all of them, and that was way before the market was even over. So that's something that I'm gonna be stocking up on at every market. All right. At $11.28, I sold a penguin. I was so excited about this because I have been holding on to these penguins since the winter time. I feel like I've had them for a while. I really thought they would sell during the winter, but they didn't. I have a pink one and a blue one, and a little boy picked out the blue one, and that was for $16. Okay, the next sale was basically at the same time. It was 2 families. The other family bought, let's see my notes. Where's my notes? Oh, okay, here we go. So I sold a kitten for $18. This is the mini kitten pattern from Annie Caraway Art. And I sold a bluey, it's like a potato, pocket potato bluey or something. I have a bluey and a bingo. Now I just have a bingo. I sold that for $18 as well. So that's exciting. Although I do feel bad that bingo is by herself. Okay, at $12.27, I sold another chick in an egg for $10. At $12.31, I sold a tiny whale. I have 2 items that I bring to every event that are $6. These are my lowest price crochet item. They are my tiny whales, which is an all from jade pattern, and my tiny octopuses. I think they're both all from jade actually. They're both YouTube tutorials that are from all from jade, and both of those are $6. I usually keep them next to each other, and it's just something easy for people to grab when they don't want to spend a lot of money, but maybe they want to get their kids something small. So, and by the way, I sold out of both whales and my octopi. My mom looked it up when she was making my sign for me, and apparently both octopi and octopuses are both correct. So, I don't know, I've always thought it was octopi. All right, okay, yes, so at 12:43, I sold the duck with the flower headband, and that was $20. I forgot I priced it that high. But I guess I did. It did take me quite a while to make it. So that is the free pattern that is, let me tell you. Oh my gosh, I lost the page. Ah! JD Plushies, I think. I just want to confirm. I don't want to tell y'all wrong. This one's really cute. Yeah, JD Plushies. So that one's extremely cute. Love it. I love the way it turned out. It looked great. Okay, and then at 12:47, so these are coming right back to back. This was a really busy time around this lunchtime period. People were getting out of the line from the other activities and coming to shop. I sold a love bug. Yes, so cute. This is a really cute pattern by BK Crochet. It's like a bug bundle. It's all the same structure, but different colorways, so and at this market, I had the love bug and I had a ladybug. I really thought someone would get the ladybug, but this was the first market that I brought it to, so I'm not feeling discouraged about it. I charged $35 for these. They take me a good amount of time because there's different parts. There's wings, feet, legs, head. So I charged $35 for them, so a little girl picked that one out. It's super cute. I really want to make the third one, which is a bee, but we shall see. All right, there's so many things that I want to make in so little time. So at 12:48, I sold a baby octo. At 12:50, I sold a kitten for $18. At 12:54, I sold, oh, this was a little girl that kept grabbing things. I didn't write this down, but I know what this was. So this was, I sold her, it's like probably like a 3-year-old, I guess. She kept grabbing stuff, and her dad, like in a fluster, kind of just said, okay, get it. So I actually sold her one of my coin purses, which is they're not typically geared at toddlers, but that's okay. She wanted it. So she got my strawberry coin purse that I made the week before the market. And then she got little mini clips that go in your hair. That is one of the items that I carry that I don't hand make. It's really just the tiny clips and the hair claws. This is the only thing. Well, actually I have some socks, but I didn't put them out because it was a warm day. I do have some fuzzy socks, but I didn't put those out this time. So those are the 2 things that I just bought in bulk because they fit my vibe, and it kind of saves me some, carpal tunnel. Have a little extra inventory that's not physically made by me. So that's what she bought. Let's see. At 12:55, I sold another octo. At 1:24, so we had a little lag. There's like 30-minute lag with no sales. I sold another mystery box for $10. And then at 1:30, 6 minutes later, I sold another mystery box. I did have one girl make a request for the mystery box. So the way I do it is I have a little sign next to them saying that they're $10, and then I say your box might include one of these animals, and I list out all the possibilities. So I think it was cats, sharks, whale, capybara, turtle, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, birds. I had 2 like cute little birds. It's a yellow chick and a little cockatiel. She said she had her dad ask me, which is kind of funny, but she said she wants a mystery box, but she doesn't want the shark. The shark is the only thing she wouldn't want. So I kind of peeked in. I knew what color the shark was and made sure that it wasn't. She got a turtle. So I made sure it wasn't a shark for her. I'm happy to do that. Like, you know, obviously I'm not gonna go through and find like a specific one, but if she doesn't like a shark, then I thought that was totally okay to do that. All right, 131. I sold the egg with the chicken side. I think that's the last one. I think that's 4. So that was exciting to sell out of those. At 143, I sold 2 mystery boxes. And at 211, I sold a frog for $12. So these frogs, I think I really need to price them at 10. They're kind of small. This is also a free Instagram pattern. They're a little bit small for $12, I feel like, but they're really cute. I think I'm gonna price them at 10. I have had the thought of maybe I would put them in the mystery box. Now here's a little thing I will mention. We were set up from 11 to 4. The activities like the bunny and balloons and face painting, they only ran from 11 to 2. So I guess they only paid them for 3 hours. But because it was an active shopping center, we still got traffic after 2. It died down a lot, of course, as you could expect. But there were still active shoppers walking around. It's kind of one of those outdoor shopping centers where you park and walk around. You're not moving your car different places. So that, I think that works well for this kind of event. Okay, at 229, I sold another mystery box. 232, a small frog. Did I already say this? Oh no, I guess I sold 2 frogs. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, I sold 2 frogs, I forgot that. So I sold 2 frogs yesterday. At 238, I sold another baby octo. At 243, I sold an octo and a whale. At 3 o'clock, I sold a mystery box for 10. At 3:06, I sold a tiny chicken. Shockingly, this was the only tiny chicken I sold. So that's another one of my lower price items. I sell those for 8. It's the mini Mabel, like baby chicken pattern. I usually get a lot of oohs and ahs, and I get a lot of sales of those usually. Maybe it's the placement that I have them, I'm not sure. But I only sold one of those at 3:06. Then we had a 30-minute window where I didn't get any sales, and then at 3:38, I sold a duck with a little hat. So this is a bundle of, I guess it's all the same pattern, but except for different hats. So a little duck that wears a hat. I did buy the pattern. I sold that for $10. It was quite small because I made it with Parfait Chunky instead of Bernat Blanket, but it was super cute. Okay, at 3:39, I sold 2 baby octos. At 3:49, I sold 1 baby octo. At 3:50, I sold a Mabel chicken, which was my last regular size Mabel chicken. So I've kind of moved away from making the regular size Mabels. I just think that they're very popular amongst crocheters, probably because they're just easy to whip up. And people do love chickens, but in my experience, if I have the small chickens, people don't buy the bigger chickens. But in this case, they did. Someone bought it. That's the last one that I had in stock. And then finally, my last sale at 3:52 p.m., right before 4 o'clock, I sold 2 tiny whales and the last baby octo. So they cleared me out. This was just a family with 3 kids. They cleared me out of all my $6 items. So the last 2 tiny whales and a baby octopus. And I'll also say that I ran out of my certificates of adoption. I can't remember if I showed this. I don't think I showed this in my last market recap, but I did show it in one of my market prep vlogs. This is a new thing that I've been giving out, usually just for kids when they get a crochet plushie. I just kind of set them out in the front because sometimes I forget to mention it. So if they spot it, they can ask about it if I've forgotten. But it's really cute. I got this idea from Vivian the Strawberry, and I'll put the picture of it right here. So basically I just made this template in Canva myself, and I print it out on a cardstock. I do 4 per page. I didn't get to print out extras this past time, which is why I ran out, because my printer jammed the night before and I was just like, I'm not gonna deal with this right now. I can't deal with this printer jam. So I did end up running out, but it was the last sale of the day. So they had 3 kids and I only had 2 left. I said, listen, I got these. If I don't have enough for everyone. They did take them, but I'll be printing out more of those for my next market, hopefully. I think people really find it to be cute. So let's see, what was our total? Let me go to the right day. Okay, so this was my best day, both in numbers of order and total. I will say if you're looking at average sale per order, it was quite low. Just because I sold so many of those little $6 items, which is okay. A sale is a sale, and it adds up in the end, and those are really quick to make. So my total amount of sales, and this does include tax, so I do charge sales tax on my card transactions, and then for the cash ones, I just eat the cost myself because I feel like it kind of evens out when you don't have to pay the card processing fee, and I'm just not about to do those calculations in person in real time and keep change. I'm not gonna do that. So for the cash, I just pay the tax myself out of that profit. But so this total does include the tax I collected, $441.97. Yes, so $442. And that was over the course of 30 separate orders. So 30 separate transactions, and that includes the cash ones because even if they pay cash, I'm still inputting it into my system to help me keep better track of that. So yeah, that's super exciting. I know a lot of people will be making like thousands of dollars at events. That's not been my experience so far. It's just not. I'm gonna be making a video next week about what the future looks like for me in my market. I've got a market in 2 weeks on April 26th, and then I'm not gonna do any in May, and then I've got a kind of a larger festival in June, early June. So I've got some exciting news to announce about like what's gonna look like for the end of the year, the second half of the year, which is kind of crazy to think about. We're already in April, but I've already got like a big event that I'm signed up for in December. And I applied for a big, like huge festival that is in my area in October. So I haven't heard back about that yet, but I'm gonna be doing a planning video. It's gonna come out next week, so stick around for that. I do think I'm gonna be focusing on fewer events, but that are larger opportunity. I guess I don't know how else to say that, but events that seem like they are higher traffic or just higher profile than just a random one-off event. Yeah, I'll go into that more on that video and my thoughts behind that. But I appreciate all of y'all watching. If you got here, if you skipped around, that's fine too. I like to put chapters in case y'all don't want to hear me blathering. You just want to see what's sold. But yeah, hopefully some of this was helpful and you enjoyed hanging out with me for a little while today. So if you did, subscribe, like the video, and I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.